Hey all, welcome back to Star Control 2. Spent the time since the last episode mining out the solar system, getting ourselves some resources from planet to planet to get ourselves ready. This is Idrin.
And this is Snow. Howdy.
And right now we're going to head back to the starbase to leave off these minerals and then get ready for whatever our next step is going to be in saving the galaxy from the Ur-Quan.
Look at us drunkenly skittering across the universe.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to control now and then, especially since we don't have quite the turning speed I'd like.
Glad you're back. Before we proceed, I wanted you to know our deep space monitoring team has detected faint alien signals coming from Uranus or somewhere in that general direction. The emanations are definitely being generated from within the solar system and could represent the presence of a hierarchy spy.
Alright, so we've got a little bit to take care of before we head out then. So once we leave these off, we'll go and investigate that signal. I think I do a little bit of upgrading first. Guess I'll find out very shortly. Yep. So we're just going to add another storage bay for as we mine things outside the solar system, so we don't have to constantly be coming back here. And throw in another fuel tank, just so that we've got a little bit more range once we do end up actually leaving. And we don't have quite enough to improve our turning or speed more than before, so we'll have to take care of that later. So now let's head over to Uranus and see what that signal's about.
Yes, the happier pronunciation.
So this is a simplified version of the solar system. It doesn't have most of the gas giant moons, just the really biggest ones. So here, all we have is the planet itself. Obviously we can't land on it because it's a gas giant. And I like that they actually included the tilt. They make sure that they do make the animation of the planet for the real planets here in the solar system reflect, to a degree, the actual ones. It's a nice bit of detail.
I mean, for the age of the game, it's really impressive.
It looks pretty nice once you start to see alien worlds as well. There's a few that look really well done. Nothing on Uranus, but we can check out Pluto, which is in the same general area.
That's not a planet.
It was back then. So we've got a little bit of minerals here. Some purple, which indicates exotic materials. In this case, it's cell crystals. But we've also got an energy signal here.
Oh my, it's an atom.
Huh. A dangerous atom. We just lost 8 crew members from that.
Holy crap. Not Luigi.
Well, you know, he always gets short shrift.
To the great ghost mansion in the sky.
See, that's what we should have named the ship. And here we have Captain Fwiffo.
In an obvious attack posture, this is Spotty Captain Fwiffo. I know you are going to torture me, so let's just get this over with right now.
I love them, and I want to keep them.
The Spotty are one of my favorite alien races.
6 by 368.7.
The voice alone.
Is known only by me and several billion other Spotty is Huffy, Muffy, Duffy. Sorry about that little mistake with your landing vehicle. I was so startled when it approached my vessel in a threatening manner that my automated defense systems fired on it when it got too close. I hope nobody got hurt.
So, Star Control 2 is very much a Planet of Hats game. There's not a lot of development of the races. They're all kind of focused around one particular trait, and for the Spothy, that is cowardice.
Your entry into the system, which you are no doubt here to conquer. And while you are certainly welcome to do so, we would be greatly appreciative if you would please just go away and forget this star system ever existed. If you don't go,
It's not so much a bad thing because they do so much great with it.
Relationship with the Ur-Quan, who stationed us here to watch over the Earthlings.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and try and keep diplomatic.
Oh, thanks. For a minute there, I thought you were going to kill me.
That voice is amazing.
It really is. I can't remember who this voice actor is. Let me look that up really quick. Because everyone in the game did a great job, but the Spothy are just top tier in this game.
They made a valiant effort against the superior Ur-Quan forces. It even looked like they might miraculously defeat the combined Ur-Quan armada, right up to the point at which the Ur-Quan totally defeated, indeed annihilated them.
This was David Bryce, the same person that voice acted the Ilrath.
Oh.
The Ur-Quan presented the humans with the standard slave options. Join the hierarchy as combat brawls and retain some autonomy, including the right to travel through space, or become a fellow species and return to pre-atomic savagery on the surface of their homeworld, encased for all time beneath an impenetrable force shield. The humans chose the latter option, and so were swiftly imprisoned on the surface of Earth.
It might seem a little strange to you, by the way, that the Spothy seem to have gone with the combat thrall option, and we'll cover this later on in this dialogue.
I mean, they did enough damage to us.
True, but they don't really seem like the type that between those two choices would have chosen the war race.
A bit uneasy, because with each passing day we grew more and more worried about the sneaky Earthlings making a surprise attack. But the Ilrath kept telling us that it was impossible, since the Earthlings had no ships or weapons whatsoever. That made us feel a bit better, but when the Ilrath left, again we grew fearful, and decided to make a strategic redeployment to Mars. Later on we decided it would be prudent to relocate to Jupiter's moon, Ganymede, then later Saturn's moon, Titan, and finally here to Pluto.
Strategic.
The Ilrath contingent were supposed to be...
It's not retreat, it's just a strategic withdrawal.
The most rigid flipper, no, yes, the backbone of
I mean, typically you have to retreat from something.
That is true.
Vanished from this region of space.
That's a little bit of an underhanded pun with the Spothy, by the way. They're invertebrates, so they have no backbone.
And wanted them to kill, or at least torture someone soon. Personally, I believe they just got bored and went off to have some fun. Well, when they were pushing up into...
Yeah, you might notice that those aren't actual limbs they have there, just manipulator arms.
Very question, and I think they said something to the effect of real soon. We decided that if the Earthlings figured out we had abandoned the base on Luna, they would be more likely to try something sneaky. So, we rigged up some old service androids and ordered them to drive around on the lunar surface in bulldozers, endlessly pushing around.
I mean, that's kind of clever.
Yeah? It's something, at least. This part's even more clever.
To an audio Melnorme fun rum called Winky's Happy Night, hoping they would think we were still there.
I love them even more.
Yeah. Basically put an alien porn on loop to trick people into thinking they were communicating.
Surprise attack by a vicious, unrelenting alien race which we Spotty call the Ultimate Evil.
We have to ask about that.
As yet, the ultimate evil remains largely unmanifest, and its powers and exact intentions are still a bit obscure, since it lurks just outside the range of even the most sensitive long-range detectors, which we feel gives conclusive evidence as to the ultimate evil's nefarious intent.
To be fair, that is nefarious.
True, they're so hidden that there's no evidence they exist. You know that has to be a bad sign.
Just like that Illuminati.
Which could lay siege to an entire planetary system, should we choose to do so. Which, fortunately for you, we have decided not to do today. I am undone. You are far too clever for a poor stuffer like me, and now I must submit to your superior alien intellect. I guess I am not revealing any truly important secrets if I tell you that each of my species' Eluder-class void ships typically holds 30 stuffer crewmen, though at present my vessel, the Star Runner, is not up to full complement due to the needs of my homeworld in their resistance against the ultimate evil. And in fact, my vessel is somewhat understaffed right now, seeing as how I am the only spotter on board, which is a bit frightening, as I am sure you can understand. Since it was our most powerful and unforgiving masters, the Ur-Quan, who stationed us here, we knew it would be grossly stupid to disobey them completely, but we decided it would be okay to send just one ship home.
We don't end up actually seeing them in combat for a while, by the way. I just happen to get lucky and not getting into fights. But the void ships are very interesting when you do happen to run into them. They only have a single weapon, and it's a missile that shoots out from the aft.
Why?
They're completely built around running away.
That is so beautiful.
Here alone, for as even the most immature in wrestling knows, there must always be one spotter who picks the short top runs. How true, Captain, how true! In truth, just between us, during the past 7...
So right now, we're just trying to see if we can convince them into coming along with us, because one of our things right now is picking up allies to fight against the Ur-Quan, and I mean, this is better than nothing.
Are we certain
The first
about that?
Well, I mean, he's the first alien we've met that... Well, no, I can't say he's the first alien we met that hasn't tried to kill us. He's the first alien we met that hasn't been focused on trying to kill us.
Our masters don't really keep us very well informed about their goings-on, so that all we know is that immediately after the subjugation of the last Alliance race, the Hut, I think, the Ur-Quan gathered their dreadnoughts and departed for the edge of the galaxy, commanding us to obey the slave laws or face their wrath when they returned.
Basically left them here to get them out of the way.
Pretty much is what it sounds like. So let's get some more exposition before we go.
Of what happened to each race. For instance, when defeated, the Yahat joined the hierarchy as combat thralls, while the Siren chose to be slave-shielded on a planet in the Bug Squirt star system. No, that's not right. I forget its name. Anyway, where was I? Oh yes.
So that's a little bit of a puzzle to figure out.
Out in the gigantic blaze of glory. The Sophisti were half ethereal, as you know, having been uplifted by the Yahat just a few decades before the start of the war. Given their habit of detonating those suicidal so-called glory devices in combat, it came as no particular surprise to me when, upon the arrival of the Ur-Quan Primary Task Force at their homeworld, the Sophisti caused their sun to explode in a colossal
Holy
supernova,
crap.
destroying the entire planetary system,
Yep.
and not incidentally dozens of Ur-Quan dreadnoughts.
What was that?
I don't know.
Personally, nice of you to ask. I was born a poor...
So let's get a little bit of backstory here.
The youngest child of a family of 18,487. My male parents had to work hard to support us, very hard. But each of my brothers and sisters and I tried to help out to make ends meet. The female parent was kind and sweet to all of us. Why, she once even called me by name! What a treat, a golden memory. I swiftly matured into a fine example of my species with my parents' assistance. Achieved independence. Specifically, they pried me from the door jam and rolled me into the street. Thus prepared, I set out to make my fortune.
Just like any kid, you
I
know.
had great dreams in those days. Yes, great dreams. I knew that someday I would be vastly rich, wealthy enough to afford a large, well-fortified mansion. Surrounding my mansion would be vast tracts of land, through which I could slide at any time I wished. Of course, one can never be too sure that there aren't monsters hiding just behind the next bush. So I would plant trees to climb at regular, easy-to-reach intervals. And being a spotty of the world, I would know that some monsters climb trees, though up
Well, at least it's well thought
I
out.
would have my servants place in each tree a basket of correct stones. Not too heavy, not too light, just the right size for throwing at monsters. I was thinking about what color the stones would be painted. Aqua, mauve, or magenta, when I met a fellow.
To be fair, he has been lost here for God knows how long.
Oh, this was what he was thinking about when he first left. Then the vegetable cart hit him, and then he got forcibly enlisted into the military.
Oh.
After the accident, and with the assistance of some kind strangers, had been relieved of my funds and convinced to join the Navy, where I have been unpleasantly employed for the last 25 years.
It's one way to get a career.
Happy days and jubilation! I discard all prejudice and hesitations and accept and celebrate your offer of protection and your undying commitment to my well-being. I must wax melancholy for just a moment, though, and make sure you understand that any other spotty ships we meet at large in the galaxy are not going to be quite so responsive to your friendly gestures as myself, since they bear more heavily the yoke of Ur-Quan enslavement.
Oh, I guess they don't explain that in this dialogue. Been a while since I played this game. Why they serve as combat thralls. We'll find that out when we eventually get to their homeworld then, I believe.
Welcome me aboard, Captain.
And we have our first ally.
Do we
Now,
get
one
the
shame
ship?
about... Yes, you do. Yep, you can see it there in the fleet listing in the top right. One shame about this game, though, is that there's no real banter or anything like that, so we won't really get to talk with Captain Foe in the future. Unfortunately.
I guess we'll just save that for Mass Effect.
Yeah. There are other Spotty at least, but it's not really the same. So let's update the commander about this.
Captain, I'm glad you made it back in one piece.
So not really any response to that,
Another
but
small
while we're
Captain.
here,
Well, I suppose something
after
is
he
better than
finishes
nothing.
griping about this,
Return soon,
we can go ahead and load up the ship with crew and then head off. You'll remember that he's the only one on the ship, so we do need to add some crew members first. Just in case. Because the way this works in combat is crew members are essentially hit points. Every time you get hit in combat, you lose a certain number of crew, and once you're out of crew, your ship explodes.
Oh, that's very happy.
Yep. So we've got just enough resource units to stock them up. And with that, we will be heading out. Oh, after we get a little bit more fuel, too. But now, we're ready to head out, explore some of the stars around here, do some more mining, see if we can chat up some more aliens to get some more allies. And our first stop is going to be, of course, well, what is the nearest star in real life? Not quite so here, but we're going to head to Alpha Centauri. Here's our star map, and you can see it, the big red star down here. Now look around a little bit to see what else is in the area. You can see there are a few stars that are closer, but, you know, it's the traditional partner of Earth, so let's check it out.
And trekking onward we go.
Yep. Well, we're gonna save first, just to be safe. Once we head out of the solar system, we'll have our first look at hyperspace. So unlike in solar system travel, here it's completely non-Newtonian, and as you go, the hyperspace drag causes you to need to burn fuel. So that's really where fuel's important. You use it when you're sending down a landing pod, of course, but this is mainly the reason for fuel. You can see a map of the nearby area there on the bottom right, and we're just about at Alpha Centauri already. So let's head in, and looks like there's another ship here. So we'll have even more alien chatter.
More alien friends for all.
Well, let's check out this planet they're around first, see if there's anything interesting there. Here we've got a Sumerian world. These worlds tend to have mostly the teal types of minerals here. There's a bunch of different types of planets, and the mineral distributions on them tend to be the main difference from one to another. And here we've got, I don't remember the official name for teal, I think organic? Each one of the mineral types, there's a order that they go in from the least valuable to most, but rather than being just generic value, it's mostly that each one is its own category of minerals. A lot of them aren't really technically minerals either, but oh well. So we've picked up a few, and now let's talk to the aliens. See what's going on.
I am Trade Master Greenish, in command of the Melnome starship, inevitably successful in all circumstances. I bid you a formal welcome, Captain. Though we Melnome have just recently arrived in this region of space, we have long desired to make contact with your species and look forward to an extended, profitable relationship.
But do they have the lobes for it?
Meeting, we knew of you, Captain.
Well, it looks like it. They look awfully loby.
Shall be a long and difficult challenge, fraught with great danger and mystery. We have great confidence in you and your abilities.
This voice actor is Larry Z. He's another guy that this is the only game he's ever done. He's probably either some random guy they picked up or someone that worked for Toys for Bob. I can't really find out which one.
Revealing even one of these sources would be so high that your species would be in debt to us for centuries. Our origins and purposes are frankly mysterious, and due to several unavoidable factors, we are unable to discuss ourselves in any great detail. First and foremost among these factors is our unwillingness to give away information about our history, psychology, and mental powers, our unique physiology, the exact locations of homeworlds, or our potentially ominous long-range plans. However, these important and relevant pieces of information are available for a nominal sum of credits. Yes, let us get down to business. Since this is your first time trading with us, let me explain how our system works. We are interested in purchasing certain items, specifically biological data on alien life forms, and the coordinates of certain strange worlds whose radiant energies defy all scanners, producing a rainbow-like image. In exchange,
So this is the main purpose for the biological recovery. It was a little bit lampshaded at the start in last episode. What happens is when you do encounter biological things on a planet, you can stun them, take them into stasis on your landing pod, and you trade the information about them with the Melnorme for credits.
Important secrets which may help you in your travels. To facilitate trade, we translate all your sales into interstar credits, with which you may make purchases. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Now, what can we do for you today?
Fortunately, we haven't really encountered any yet, so we can't get any credits just yet.
You mean we can't sell our own data? That's sad.
Afraid not. They only care about non-sentients.
Is 12 million credits.
Holy crap.
I don't think we're ever going to find out the mystery of why the bridge turns purple.
You have nothing we wish to buy. It has been a pleasure dealing with you, Captain. We look forward to your next visit.
So the Melnor may show up in any system with a supergiant star like this one, the large red stars. You use them as trade resources. They're the mechanic by which you upgrade your technology, as he mentioned. The only mechanic for that. They have lore and data and hints for things in the game, background information, exposition, all that sort of stuff. And they're also an emergency source of fuel. While we're here, we're going to hit this ruby world. This is where you get a lot of exotic materials from. The most valuable of things that you can mine. These worlds tend to be very dangerous, as you can see from this one. So the scan information here, the temperature gives you a hint if there's going to be firestorms, weather gives you a hint if there's going to be lightning, and tectonics gives you a hint if there's going to be earthquakes. The other data is pretty much just there for color. Do a little bit more mining while we're here, since we might as well. See if we can fill up our cargo. There's a lot of valuable stuff in this system, but you need to be a little bit careful mining it.
Gracious. All the good resources on this one.
But this one's 200 degrees hotter than the last planet, and that one was already pretty fiery. So when we touch down on this one, you can see it's pretty bad and didn't really go well. Yep.
Oh, we just lost 12 crew.
Yep, and our landing pod, so we can't even send down another pod. So might as well go back to the starbase with that. Not much else we can do in this system with no landing pod.
Did Trek teach you nothing? You always have two.
I'll keep that in mind next time. We'll make sure to buy two when we stop back up.
You have one to send down and one to retrieve it when that messes up.
What happens when the second one messes up?
Well, that's when the first one gets repaired and it has to bring the second one back to space.
Ah, okay. So let's make our way back to Sol. And here we're going to show a nice feature of this. There's an autopilot. If you select a star here on the star map, then the ship will pilot itself straight there.
Oh, nice. Is that any star?
Yep, any star that shows up on the star map.
Oh, that makes life easier.
Yep. And you can break the autopilot anytime you want just by moving. Just by turning or doing something. So you're not locked in if you do need to suddenly change direction for one reason or another.
That makes me think there might be something dangerous in there. Hyperspace. Some nefarious evil.
There's no chance of that. It's called the ultimate evil, though.
I'm glad you're back.
Nefariously ultimate evil.
Exactly.
Good work, Captain.
Yep, you can see that by far the exotic materials are the most valuable. Every unit of them is 25 credits versus 8 for the next best. They're going to replace those crew that we lost, and we're going to replace the landing pods as well. One nice thing about this is because of the concept that this is the Earth starbase helping you out as you need to go, there's no difference in buy and sell prices for anything here. If you want to trade stuff in, you get exactly as many resource units as you spent to get in the first place.
That's nice.
So you're never really locked into something. So there's our 2 landing pods, and unfortunately we don't have enough resource units left to upgrade anything else right now. We'll have to go on a bit of a mining spree first. And that's what we'll be coming around to next time. So the next episode we'll go to some of the local stars and do some mining and get an idea on the variety of planets that we can encounter as we go. So thanks for watching everyone, and until next time, bye!
Goodbye. See you next time.